Hello, gang. It is I, Action Johnny, once again, bringing you some more of that sweet Johnny time. Right, yes, this is another game I got in with the Blitzicorn deck. Uh, it was against Crane this time round. Crane is one of those matchups that is just so fucking all over the shop, depending on who gets the better cards. I mean, they can either just roll all over you or just die on their ass. It's super random. They've just got a lot of blowout shit, right? And also the ability to just high roll spectacularly. Um, so yeah, no, it was a good game, this one, actually. There was a lot of twists and turns to it. And apparently this guy knew who I was, I found out at the end, but I've got absolutely no idea who you are. So Shosuro Kamuri, if you're out there, come forward with your identity. Hide not your face from me, if you do indeed truly know who I am. Alright, so pretty sweet flop there. Not too fussed on Nerguai and the Mystic at this time. Definitely want something cheaper, and there it is. Got my Border Rider there. So I'm looking for conflict characters as ever and charge. I get rid of the Shigenja shit, but I keep Captive Audience because it's Crane, and that's actually a better two cards for me than what I had before. Court Games and Ready for Battle both relevant in this matchup. So I'm first player. I play a Border Rider. I guess I play a Border Rider, and I put Fate on it. Weirdly, why do I do that? Interesting. Okay, cool. So I should qualify that I made this video a little while ago. This is about 4 days old now, so I can't quite remember it perfectly. Alright, yeah, I probably wouldn't put the Fate on the Border Rider because they get assassinated real easy, and who cares if they go away. So not the best draw up because I don't really want to be putting my attachments on the easily assassinatable Border Rider, and Cavalry Reserves does nothing. Neither does Force the River, as I've got no Shigenja. Only Legion of One really doing anything there, so a fairly duff hand at the minute. 50% of it not really contributing anything or usable. He instantly passes before we draw 5, which is interesting. Maybe he'd caught wind of my playstyle or something. Or maybe he just didn't fancy it. So I'm thinking, well, he's obviously got conflict guys in hand, or he's got some sort of horrible event, like he's splashing a Fate worse than death out of Scorpion. Right, I go on the attack because I've got a guy that stands, so why not? I go Earth, and I flip Magistrate Station, which, you know what? I'm okay with flipping that right now. I can just Legion of One to break it, make him do something. He instantly puts a Menacing Iron Warrior into the conflict. So this is a new card Crane got on the Elemental cycle, and I believe quite a few Cranes are running it just because he is one of the best military characters they can run, which is hilarious because he's not amazing. I mean, the best you're going to get out of him is 5/3 when he's honoured. You know, so he's like just kind of a beat stick with a sometimes relevant ability. But, you know, he's not really great. You know, people aren't lining up to have Menacing Iron Warrior in their deck. Anyway, he wins that. So I trigger my Vengeful Oathkeeper. And I stand up my Border Rider. So, I, for some reason, didn't do my political first, which was perhaps a mistake. But hey ho. He uses Way of the Crane on his Menacing Iron Warrior. So now the Iron Warrior is honoured and can be stood with the Magistrate Station. Which I believe is then exactly what happens. After some deliberation, he plays a Steward of Law in. With no Fate. I guess I'm like, cool, whatever. And he goes for political water on fucking Feast of Famine with a 1 strength poke. And I've got no way of buffing that up, sadly. Absolutely no way. I'm really thinking about defenders here. And in the end, I do not use a defender. God, I can tell this is agonizing past me. I was a lot of time thinking about something. So he bows my guy with the watering and ready for battle. Just, oh no, I don't do it. I just take it. I save my ready for battle. Interesting. I wonder what past Dan had in store here. It's probably just me being like, value, value, value. That wasn't great value, jumping in that guy only for him to get bowed. Maybe I forget about Magistrate Station. He actually asked ready for battle there. I think I just ignore that. I don't really like to talk to my opponents about what I have in my hand. If you're down for that, cool. You can tell me what's in your hand, that's fine. So now he uses the Magistrate Station to stand his beefy dude. And this turn is looking pretty bad for me at the minute. It's a bit whap whap. You know, doesn't look like I'm getting the favour, which is really bad versus Crane. I can't tell you how awful it is to lose the favour to them. You know, 1 Yoshi flip and you're pretty much on the way to Toast Town. I go for the 1 strength political. This is probably why I saved the ready for battle. I saved the ready for battle to bluff. So maybe he wouldn't defend the conflict. Ah, damn it, he does defend the conflict. He defends that conflict so good. So I saved the ready for battle so he can't stronghold me. So that probably is a bit more value. Good old value, Dan. I'm losing this one pretty heavily though. So what I really should have done was actually court games here before doing captive audience. I'm assuming I'm about to captive audience. Not noticing the pulsing court games next to it. Because that makes him spend a cancel or at least use his own court games, right? He probably wants to keep his guy honoured. On fire here for the possibility of a keeper. And really, if I win this conflict, the turn sort of spins from falling away from me back very much towards me. So I do captive audience without court games. So I'm assuming that I'm going to Legion of One now. Oh, and he policy debates. That is so brutal. I just won because I'm not really. I ain't got time for that, basically. He gives me 2 honor. It's kind of irrelevant in this matchup because you're just going to endlessly bid 5. And he sees my hand, so I'm pretty much certain to be seeing goodbye to Legion of One. Be interesting though, because if he doesn't discard Legion of One, then that's telling that he has a force pump of his own in his hand. But he does indeed discard it, so I assume at this point he doesn't. And my dreams of obtaining the favour this turn fall flat on their ass. Yeah, so that is really quite a bad time. He's actually still got military conflict left as well, so I'm sort of wondering, does he have another conflict character? He doesn't, thankfully. He does not. Not a great turn for me, all things considered. Slightly worse board, slightly worse hand, ever so slight fate advantage. I do have Talisman though, and I do have Feast of Famine, and a lot can be said for that. I chucked the Keeper and the regulars because best to get some fuel on the fire for that cavalry reserves, and I really want to play my Shigenja, obviously. Oh, and speaking of Shigenjas, I get an all-star Shigenja flop. Okay. So, he just goes in for the Billy Big Balls buy and gets fucking Doji Hitaru out with three fate on her, and I'm like, oh my fucking god, I gotta Feast of Famine that. So, not to be outdone, because truly the measuring of E-rods has commenced in this dynasty phase here. I buy my own big boy, or big girl, I guess, and I just Kajonga 3 fate on her as well. Bang, no questions asked. Maybe I just put 2. How much fate are you gonna put on? Does she really need 4 fate, Dan? I mean, that's just one-upmanship, right? Okay, cool. Pastan realises that and just goes for the slightly more modest 2, though admittedly less rod on the table. But we bump her up to 3 with a dupe, and we pass. Bang! 5 cards for everyone. He has the favour, so that Accenture's fucking useless. But I do get a Goblin Sneak. I get some good shit this turn. I've got 2 Spyglasses now, so that's always good. And wasting no time, I instantly attach one to Shahai. I think my thoughts here was to try and bait attachment control, see what he was running there. I've really got like every tool in my arsenal to shut down Hataru this turn. There's no way that Hataru is doing anything, you know? Between like Border Fortress and Feast of Famine and Captive Audience, there's just no way she's going to trigger her ability. And in all likeliness, I've got everything unless he's got let goes. But you know, not many people pass up the opportunity to let go a Spyglass. Look at that juicy one right there, just waiting to be let go. It seems I'm not content with just the one. I put the second Spyglass on. Okay, yeah, so I'm actually going to like ramble about this for a second. If you're not running Finger of Jade and you're playing versus Crane, don't do what I'm doing now. Just don't. They'll find a way to dishonor that guy with all your shit on him, and then they'll noble sacrifice them. They'll find a way. They'll sometimes even noble sack if it's only a slight value gain. I had a dude noble sack his 1 fate guest of honor to kill my Shahai with like 3 or 4 attachments on her, because it was just like, it's mathematically it's worth it. So yeah, tearing up like Shahai or one character with everything is pretty bad if you're not running Finger of Jade. Ugh. So, back to the game at hand. What's nice about this matchup is Crane don't run Cloud the Mind, so I'm not in any rush to put free Mashodo on Shahai. And he walks right into Pilgrimage. And I'm thinking, fuck this shit. I'm gonna defend that right up. But probably with the Border Rider, because I'll probably want to break Magistrate Station with Shahai. No, it looks like I'm just going for the cards. Certainly not bad though, certainly not bad there. Charge and second carry reserves is not great right now, but that will come in handy later. Really, I want the favour this turn. I'm not quite sure what I'm doing here. Okay, it looks like I'm doing some sort of Force of the River based shenanigery. Perhaps maybe this is maybe I'm doing a Hisu Mori Toride trigger here. That's the plan. Okay, so he actually dishonors Hotaru to take away my Force of the River, so that's out the window. So I know he's on Scorp Splash now. Oh, you know, and looking back on it, that was a greedy play from him. A really greedy play. Like, he knows Unicorn Run Talisman. He should know that. You know, why are you using your calling in favors on that? I try to charge, he censures that, so he's obviously got a handful of answers at the minute. But I feel like that calling in favors call will come back to haunt him. A Steward of Law comes in. So I think I Goblin Sneak him now. Yep, I Goblin Sneak him right up a tree. Oh. Here, alright, yeah, so at this point he's used to calling in favors, maybe with a second wand in hand, so maybe he's not worried. And then the Goblin Sneak takes the fate. Okay, so this is actually quite an insidious play by Pass Me. Haha, for shame, but I've got the ready for battle, so that does nothing. And he's cancelled two things? No, he's taken one thing and cancelled another. So I guess I just ready for battle that. Anyway, back to the sneak here, because he may forget that Shahai can have free Mashoda on her. So it looks like right now I don't have any fate for a play, but actually I am able to make the talisman play. So guard could drop a bit here, you know, he loses his last fate for a potential second calling in favors, but he's like, well, I'm not too worried because my opponent's got no fate either. I don't know, I'm spitballing here. Okay, bang, here we go, right. She bows, I do not ready for battle. I move it straight into Feast or Famine there. Dope. This is why you gotta love that talisman. No favourable grounds, no fate, no way of getting out of this. This is just, you are losing your Hotaru. So bang, that was a fucking dope talisman Feast of Famine play. I lose the firing, and unfortunately there is sometimes clouds do not have silver linings, they've got dark linings, and this is definitely a dark lining. So he chooses to undishonor Hataru. Undishonor? Re-honor Hataru. Jesus Christ, Dan. My border rider is now really assassinatable if it wasn't before. But that is pretty huge, that swing there. He's a huge economy disadvantage. I decide to go for water here. Probably with the aim to standing Shahai up. And also forcing his doji Hotaru down. No, that was him. Can't trigger it. But I do win, and I do stand Shahai for that second lot of spyglasses, which is really clutch now. Go for Void, Dan. Go for Void. So he's coming in at me here for some amount. He goes for air, weirdly. Not sure why he goes for air here. But he's gone back to Pilgrimage, this time with his Menacing Iron Warrior, but he's hitting in for 4 with a Favor. I think I'm really tempted to block this. Maybe I don't though. Maybe I just don't. Maybe I do. After some careful consideration, I do block it. And I get another 2 cards from Spyglass. What a time to be alive. And there's another sneak. That's great. And a Cloud the Mind, which is also great. He caught games. I'm like, oh fuck, she's dishonored. That's not great. Oh, Dan. Dan, court game's back. Good, he does. I bet this gets cancelled. Yeah, he does cancel it. Right. So the mistake here... Yeah, so now we're in a slightly problematic... I'm in a slightly problematic position where my currently 10 fate worth of value Shahai is dishonored. I've got no fate to play sneak, and he just sacrifices the Iron Warrior. Straight up, not giving a fuck. Absolute vengeance spite there. And that takes me from a certain winning position into a slightly less stable one. But, you know, poof, well, that's the game. That one was tough, because Spyglasses, like, in their number, just losing those is brutal. 4 cards from 2 Spyglasses, it's not great. You want to be hitting 8 at least, right? Yeah, so caught slightly off guard there. I'm going first next turn, so I think I just decide to go Earthring here. Oh no, yeah, I do go Earth, good. And I imagine he tries to ban me with his Stronghold again, and I bounce it with Ready for Battle again. And I'm pretty sure I'm like, well, I can't break, so that's all there is to it. Haven't yet triggered my Stronghold this game. Bang. And I get the second ring. Because he didn't actually win that conflict with the Iron Warrior. So he loses an Ornate Fan to Earth Ring. And I get the favour with 2 Censures in hand, which is strong. And his entire board goes away. So even though losing that Shahai absolutely fucking sucked. Oh, I hope you felt that pain with me. It was worth it in the end, really. I came off better. So, still keen to be able to play Cloud the Mind. I keep the goddamn Master of the Swift Waves for the second turn running. And I just go in on that. I get like, what, Master of the Swift Waves with 3. Oh yeah, because I'm probably going forward first. No, maybe I just get it with 2. Yeah, just 2. That's correct. Now, in this situation, he probably really wants to buy a Guest of Honor. However, he probably wants to buy low here. The 2 1-drops is probably the correct choice. I always wonder like how much people playing against Unicorns sweat about Endless Plains. You know, they're like, shit, is Endless Plains a thing? He goes for the Doji Challenger and I pass him. I'm slightly curious about that buy because he is second player right now. So, Doji Challenge is generally best on your first player, right? He buys a second character. He leaves himself with one fate, and instantly I'm like, fuck this shit. I'm sneaking the fuck out of this guy. That's probably what I'm thinking. And that's a really good draw up for me, though. Really good. Force of the River, Court Games, Talisman, and Spyglass, and a Wayfinder to cap it all off. So I'm thinking, okay, this is starting to look good. He's spent a lot of resources for not very much here. And I do sneak his last fate. Good on you, Dan. It's generally a rule I have. That's why I fucking love Goblin Sneak. Between like hard passing and your opponent's buys, they generally just work themselves into a hole sometimes. They're like, oh, let's fail on the rings. I'll have I can just leave one fate over, and then you sneak him. That's why I run 3 of the little guys. He is awesome. So my hand's looking good. It's big. I've got all the shit I need to like break multiple provinces now. I'm probably gonna try and set myself up for the big turn this turn. So with the big turn will be 4. Turn 4 is when I'll look to bash out multiple provinces. But I'll be trying to break 1 this turn and probably able to achieve that. You gotta go Void here. Please go Void. He does go Void. And I send in those guys together for a total of 4. Now I still actually don't have any goddamn pumps. I haven't drawn any Banzais, and my 1 Legion of 1 got discarded. So it's a slightly awkward hand in that sense, but we will see. He doesn't have anyone honoured at the minute, so Magistrate Station's just a big old farmable verdant land. Verdant land of farming. And unless he just drew into some pumps, I know he's not holding. I think I've got 2 keepers at this point as well. I remember there being one earlier, and there's another one on my provinces now. So firing should be super incentivized in this matchup anyway. Kind of really want to make sure they don't get it. But now I'm probably going to focus on it a lot more with a promise of 2 sweet keepers. Now he decides to just not bother with the Doji Challenger, which is probably correct. You want to be using her to attack. They're not the best character against Master of the Swift Waves. Man, I love this deck's ability to just gobble up Fate and not leave stuff on rings. You know, it's a real Fate devouring deck. And you always kind of have the economic advantage if you play it right. He actually just doesn't defend in the end. So I guess I'm breaking Magistrate Station. It's a free break, Dan. Maybe I use the ability now. This is fairly greedy of me, I think. So yeah, I send her home and I put in the Border Rider, who I know can ready again. I should have just sent him in originally. Right, I see why. At this point I've realised I can trigger my stronghold. Okay. Bickety bam, there we go. We do not do keepers, and no, we see 2 keepers in the bin there, so we do decide to discard the card, and it's an eager boy, or sorry, a cautious boy. So good choice there. Good old RNG. And that is it. The insurmountable Magistrate Station surmounted. Border Rider bounces right back up. Really nice having all that Hataru Fate on him. Just means he's sticking around all game until he gets assassinated. Um, yeah. Though I have blown my Swift Magistrate's ability to do all that. Really, I could have probably orchestrated that sequence a bit more tidily with by just declaring the Border Rider with the Goblin Sneak. But whatever. Whatevs. He comes at me, and I just cloud the mind it. Oh, that is brutal. And he's gone straight into upholding authority. Yeah, that's bad news there. Actually helps me as well because he gets rid of a card off my provinces. Oh, and I see his hand. I think at this point, you gotta be like, well, definitely getting rid of both of those for shames. Yeah. That's a big blow there. Political right. That's two of his best control cards, and I've run out of ready for battles, so perfect timing. No cancels. No real cost to play events. He does get both his keepers, but hey ho. Not to be outdone, I think I try and get both of my keepers. Not looking good for cavalry reserves at the moment. Sadly. Though I have done not super great value cavalry reserves before. Can't remember what Wayfinder revealed, but we'll either be going to that or we won't be. So when I select the ring here, at this point I know his hand, so I'm just figuring out what's the easiest way to beat him. And it would appear that is by going this way. I think I sort of forget at this point that he had Game of Sedane in hand. Or rather, what Game of Sedane did. So I go in for like a 3 strength military just to like cover my ass. And that's against Frostbitten Crossing, which is having absolutely no effect here. And he doesn't defend. He doesn't defend, he just lets me have the keepers, which is a-okay by me. Maybe I try to break here. Maybe he lets me break. Maybe I think, oh, I can just pip it with the force of the river. That's probably what I'd be thinking about spending my last fate on. Maybe not. Maybe instead I just choose to farm it. Who's to say? Definitely having a think about it. Nope, I'm going for it. That's why I love Force of the River, man. So much value. This card is just a value shack. That's getting me like anywhere from 2 to 4 military strength in a conflict every turn now for the next 3 turns. Oh, all for a fate. Bang. Yes, I'll honour my Master of the Swift Waves. Yes, I'll take both of my Keeper Initiates. So maybe... and yeah, that's looking great. My board is looking really good now. God, I love Keeper Initiates. I just fucking love Keeper Initiates, man. Shit's so lit. Also, the great thing about Force of the River there is another 2 people in the bin for cavalry reserves. And he comes in Political Earth, which he really kind of needs at this point. I'm like, okay, cool, we can defend this. Can really break his heart here if I wanted to. I'm not sure I do want to. He's gone at Border Fortress now, and I think I just stick in the Keeper Initiate. I just court games that guy right up. Bada bing. Yay, Keepers. Probably just in mind that, like, you know, Voice of Honor's a thing. Don't want him to be able to turn it on. Also, we're probably figuring out what to use that Border Fortress trigger on. He court games me right back, which I should really censure. I should really censure it. But I don't think I do. Or I do. Okay, good. Do it, Dan. I really wish I could remember what I do. I'm like, one of my precious censures. Is this worth it? Is this worth it? It's totally worth it, Dan. It's totally worth it. Yeah, he does it. He does it. So, with that now out of the way, it's time to figure out what I'm going to use Border Fortress on, I guess, right? Maybe I attempt to flip it. Shouldn't really be flipping this conflict. No. I get. I do use Border Fortress, and I should really just either... I should probably use it on his stronghold here. Or at least his row. I probably shouldn't flip my own rally. It's not really getting me a huge amount. Yeah, I go for a stronghold. Good on you, Dan. And it's rallied to the cause. Of course it's rallied to the cause. He does not change the conflict type, unsurprisingly. Oh man, I fucking love Border Fortress. It's so trolly. It's like, cool, don't need to worry about poking that province now. That's tempo for you. That is fucking tempo. Dan, what are you doing? Just pass. Just pass. Ugh. Okay, so apparently not content to just lose the conflict, I decide to be a jackass. I'm not sure what my thinking is here. He wants to... Right, yeah, so at this point he's like, fuck this guy. And I'm like, oh, I don't really want to get into like an honor battle over a fucking keeper initiate with a conflict. So, now he's winning again, because my fucking keeper's dishonored, and he's got a second game of Sedane. And I don't have the favour anymore. So, this whole fucking thing is completely stupid. He policy debates me. I'm like, nah, cuz, definitely can't be dealing with that. 100% can't have you policy debating me and taking my awesome fucking... No, don't pass here, Dan. Cancel the policy debate. Jesus Christ. Cannot have that information at this point in the game. This is like critical. Yeah, this is super worth it, right? Absolutely par that off. So that's my second cancel. I feel like that's a really important one to cancel now. But annoyingly, like Game of Sedane has meant that he's now on par with honoured characters with me. So, yeah. And I lose this second talisman, which is a real bummer there. It's a fucking real bummer. I should have played that out, but I didn't have enough fate. But hey ho. Okay, so that's kind of like forced my hand to an extent. I need to basically leverage what advantage I have in order to blow him out. Now I got a border rider on provinces, so I can chuck him, and next turn I can do cavalry reserves and get loads of dudes. This guy goes in for a political water conflict. And he lands on upholding authority. Super great. Super duper duper great. I win that. I stand up my other keeper to ensure the favour. Definitely not looking to break up holding authority this turn. It's quite funny because earlier I discarded a fan in this game to Earthring, and if that hadn't had happened, then I could be staring down the barrel of a break here. A forced break. And that really fucks me. If I lost both cavalry reserves to upholding authority. Oh man, a lot of tense, thinky moments in this game. It's a good game. It's really back and forth, like clutching at straws for any kind of economic advantage. But I feel like I'm winning in that regard, mainly thanks to Feast of Famine. I stand up the keeper again, so favour's definitely staying with me. Now that turn really sapped my hand between everything, and it sapped his as well. That was a really expensive turn for everyone. So I've got a bigger board now. I've got two super high impact cards, and he doesn't have his cancels open because I have a favour, both favour and more honoured characters. I can get quite a lot of value out of those cavalry reserves. So if I start, I could just pass the fuck out of that. Absolutely pass the fuck out of that. Interesting to see what he goes with first here, because he has the first buy. But I've got no interest in paying for any of that. I am checking my discard pile for copies of charges, of which I've only seen one. So chances are I've got a second one coming in this top 5. I pass, he just gets Brash Samurai. I know he's got that rival in hand as well, so just fuck that off and make it really horrible to buy. You don't want to play him out for fate and then have no fate for anything else. And there you have it. 2 charges. 2 charges and another Force of the River. And Bonsai to boot. Finally my force pumps are showing up in force. So this is it. This is the turn now. I'm gonna I now know that I'm gonna win this game. Because it doesn't matter what he has in his hand. I have what I need. And that's the point you want to get to every game in Unicorn. It's like getting to this position, conservatively as possible, with as much as you can, spending as little as possible, where you've just got your 3 breaks in a row opportunity and a hand to see it through, and your opponent does not have the resources to stop it, or is not prepared to stop it. That's how you win with Unicorn. So, yeah, 8 fate there to do with whatever the fuck I please, which is probably going to be charging 2 of those regulars and playing out a butt ton of cavalry reserves. Oh man, this is going to be sweet. He goes in with his clouded whoever here. And actually I do have to defend the conflict because I'm at 2 breaks now. So whatever he's attacking I need to defend because I need to be able to break 2 in a row without having to worry about defending my stronghold. He goes military fire, which actually kind of makes it tempting for me. No, he goes political fire. So, if I was smart, I would have saved my captive audience from last turn for now, because this is a perfect time to charge in the regulars and just single-handedly stop this. But I'm not smart. What I can choose to do, though, is use Border Fortress to flip my own rally. I defend with the keepers, which is a good move. Should really insta-flip this to rally if I'm going to do it, because I've got the military favour and he's got his fortress online. His stronghold even. Oh, he's just having a think, isn't he? You know, there is a line of play where I actually let this break in order to hope he discards the Mere Mystic. He probably doesn't discard the Mere Mystic there if he's clever, so that's actually a really terrible line. Ignore that. Okay, I don't know why I do that. I, for some reason, get a Force of the River and put it on the Match of the Swift Waves there. Not quite sure why I do that. Ah, he finally has drawn an Assassinate, and there it is, my Border Rider, with all his Ataru fate. Yeah, I get that. That's fair enough. What are you thinking, Dan? Surely use Border Rider on your rally. That's what you've got to... Sorry, Border Rider. Border Fortress on your rally. That's what you've got to do here. I really agonise with some decisions when in the present. A bit quicker about this. Interesting. Right, after umming and ahhing, I do indeed do the play. Flip that shit onto military. What? So now it's 3-4. And I can quite easily win this conflict by charging in irregulars. Which I should really do. Should really, really do that. This is a super good one to win. As the regulars get me a card and a fate. Oh, shit. Here we go. Here we go, lads. He's calling in favour of the Cloud of Mind. That's a really weak play, IMO. Oh, man, like, so give a fuck. What's he going to do? Harpoon in my dude that can instantly move out the conflict? He does this Game of Sedani bullshit again. It's like, okay, yeah, cool. You can dishonor my keeper, fine. But that annoyingly gives him an honored character now. That is annoying. I've seen his air province and his fire province, so I know that last province is a void province. Yeah, so he harpoons in the Master of the Swift Waves, and I swap it out for a Goblin Sneak. And I really, really hope... Why, Dan? Charge in the fucking Kaze regulars. This is obviously the play here. Maybe I'm just like, nope, I want it all for attack. I want it all for attack. I guess that's what's happening here. Him assassinating that border rider may actually end up coming back to haunt him, because I can now bring it back out with cavalry reserves. I'm pretty sure I've got 2 border riders in the bin right now. What do I do? Oh man, it looks like I do Banzai of the charge here. This doesn't seem optimal. Have I finally figured it out? Nope. No, I haven't. I just go Banzai on the Goblin Sneak. And then Banzai on the Good Keeper. And we'll just see what he has to do there. Does he have any kind of military pump? He doesn't. So I actually get a fate for defending that, which is dope. Every trigger's been done. You're totally good. You can just pass here. Yep. We'll trigger Keeper of Fire for Showa. Sadly, Hisamori Toride not online because you didn't charge the fucking regulars, Dan. So bad sometimes. Alright, so now I'm like, I've got like past Dan, despite playing slightly suboptimally in that last conflict. It's probably like, yeah, cool. Let's go and fuck up a load of shit now. The worst thing here is walking into Shameful Display. Oh right, yeah, that obviously makes way more sense. It looks like I did a misclick there and put the Invocation of Asher on pre-conflict. Yeah. I think there's some sort of like banter that occurs now. He's like, nah, not cool. I don't give, I don't give permission. And I'm like, okay, whatever. Nothing's changed. See, the thing is, I actually did take this seriously because you can never tell on the internet if people are being sarcastic. And then at that point, I did gather that he was making a joke. All right, okay, sounds like shit. Keep going. He didn't even apologize like a Canadian. I'm not a Canadian. I'm a Brit in Canada. There's a subtle difference. It's good being a Brit in Canada, let me tell you. But that's a story for another day, viewers at home. Right, so I kind of have no choice but to walk straight into Shameful here, which fucking sucks, because that puts his cancel online and takes away my only honoured guy. But I just can't be dealing with losing both copies of Charge and Cavalry Reserve when that's my out. So I go for water, obviously, because I need to stand up a guy. I trigger a Spyglass, and it's a fucking Wayfinder. Dope. How ridiculously dope is that? That is just the best thing ever. So I've got enough money now to do any combination of at least 5 of the cards in my hand. Sorry, at least 3 of the cards in my hand, up to 5 of the cards in my hand. And that's sublime. So sure enough, it is Shameful Display, and this is a mistake here. Oh no, sorry, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. He re-honors his keeper and dishonors my 1 honor character, so his cancels are now online, which blows. But I'm pretty certain I can bait them out with charges. So we'll see if we can do just that. And remember, if I get either of those MKR triggers, I just get my fate and card back as well. That is just why they're the best. Oh, bang. So I'm like, you can almost like feel me wanting to charge those MKRs. Bang! In he goes. No cancel. Good news. Shameful display is breaking. And this guy is gonna trigger his reaction to get me Fate and cards. Legion of One, thank you very much. That's so awesome on the turn before as well. And then I sacrifice him, as you do. Whatever, I sacrifice the dude, or maybe I don't. I don't kill the guy, and I stand my goblin. Yes, goblin for the win. Goblin's so great. Right, so now I'm in a position where I can just let this conflict go through unopposed because I don't care. I've got like a real blowout hand there. I mean, look at that. Wouldn't you love to have that hand, knowing your opponent has literally zero way of cancelling it? You still have rally. I don't know what he means by that. Oh, right. Right, he's confirming if I have cavalry reserves. And I'm like, yep, I sure do have cavalry reserves. I have every single card in hand needed. This is 100% win. This is, I cannot lose this game at this point. Completely unlosable. Short of just not playing cards. Can't remember if he concedes or not, and we don't get to see all the awesome shit. He might just concede here, which is a real bummer because those cavalry reserves have been teasing the viewers at home for the entire duration of this game. Quick look at the discard pile there to see what I can cavalry reserves in, and it's looking good. Slightly odd numbers. Haven't drawn any 1-drops yet, which makes it slightly awkward, but doesn't matter. He goes in for the military earth. I'm like, whatever. Oh, this is actually quite funny. I think. Yeah, okay, I won't spoil this for you, but I'm pretty sure I just pass. Pretty sure I just passed this shit. He obviously brash samurais and he breaks because I'm just like, whatever, I don't care. I'm in the meantime figuring out how I'm going to sequence my attack on his stronghold, which seems fairly simple to me. I play the Wayfinder into the conflict. Interesting. No, I don't. I do not play the Wayfinder into the conflict, and that's probably the right choice. Yep, so that breaks. He uses the Earth Ring. He hits a cavalry reserves, and I found that amusing because I was thinking in his head he's probably like, yeah, fuck you, I got it, I got the cavalry reserves. I was like, okay, well, cool, whatever. He very wisely chooses not to discard the Mystic. Anyway, 5 cards to his 6. He's probably now got a cancel. Well, there's a chance he could have a cancel, so got to be slightly more careful here. Steward of Law could really ruin my day here. I think I go for Void just to take away his brash samurai on the off chance that it fails. Come on, go for Void. Should be game. It's probably game here. Oh, maybe there's some sort of bug problem. That's annoying. So, finally ready to attack the stronghold. Military Void. Coming at him now. Got to be slightly careful in case there is a cancel. He has now drawn an unknown card. Well, not that all of his cards are known anyway. So first thing I do is Legion of One my Fateless Goblins. I take him up to 4/5. And then the next correct thing to do would be to charge the second regulars. Okay, he just concedes. Even though I'm not actually breaking at this minute in time, but he knows I can break. Yep. Anyway, yeah, whatever. That's the game. Hope you enjoyed that one. Fun, very, very back and forth. But even after having my Shahai completely blown out, Feast of Famine really won me that game. Give me enough of the leads and completely taking care of Fataru without her doing anything. Yeah, it was good. Right. Tune in next time for more L5R Unicorn goodness.